Go. DanGryder, probable cause. It's August 5, 2023, and just 3 days ago, August 2, we had a Boeing 757 land in Atlanta. Very unusual. It evacuated on the runway. Runway 9 left. I'm going to tell you a little bit about that because it's my old alma mater, Delta Airlines, a fantastic airline. I think, in my humble opinion, one of the best. I'm very proud of my airline, my heritage, my crew, and my people out there. Are there some things that we could learn off this? Maybe. I'm simply going to give you the information that I see here and let you come to your own conclusion. I'd like to see in the comments what you really think about this. But there's a couple things that I'm going to give you as some takeaways off this thing that I don't think have been brought out so far. Blanco did his video on it the other day. I looked at it. Normally, Blanco and I talk about stuff every now and then. We did not talk about this in advance, and I didn't even know that he had done this video until somebody pointed it out, and I happened to see it. Now, the Blanco video goes into talking about whether or not the female air traffic control tower lady more or less directed or commanded this evacuation without the captain's authority. It is a big decision to evacuate onto the runway with passengers and spewing everybody outside that airplane and all that kind of stuff. Did she mislead him in advance, which is kind of the impression that I got the direction that Blanc was trying to go. I don't necessarily agree with that, and I'm going to tell you right up front here, I'm going to say male, female for both air traffic control and the crew, not necessarily because it makes any difference to me. I'm just trying to let you identify the voice of who we're hearing. So in this particular case, a male captain, a female FO, first officer. I believe she was fairly new and probably on OE, initial operating experience, probably an IOE, fairly new on this thing. The story gets set here. Blanco jumps in here and wants to say, grow a pair. He's talking about the female first officer voice on the radio. She sounds kind of weak, timid, and scared. Let's listen to her voice, and then I'm going to show you what Blanco had to say about commanding and voice. He's kind of right about some of that. You kind of need to be a little bit in authority and authoritative on some of this stuff. Here's her voice after she was given an instruction. This is after the airplane has come to a stop on 9 left in Atlanta.
Got 1437, just hold the position there on the runway. 1437, holding position.
And you say that good and loud, sound off like you got a pair.
Got 1437, just hold the position there on the runway. 1437, holding position.
Well, the crew was talking with ATC, and they kind of talked him into doing the evacuation.
Whatever. I thought the female controller did a nice job, and I'm going to give you the time delay here on this thing. I took 5 ATC tapes from live ATC. I stacked them, synced them, EQ'd them, and put them all into one tape with a transcript so you can see that. At the very end of this video, I'm going to play it from start to finish. If you want to cut to the chase and see that at the very end, you can see the timeline on how everything happened here. However, I'm going to talk about the flight. First of all, the flight left Richmond, and this thing, I believe it operated at the speed of heat. This thing took off and turned right. It's climbing out fast, which is okay. It made it from takeoff to touchdown in 1 hour and 12 minutes, which is really pretty fast. Now, coming into Atlanta, very unusual. When you land on the South Complex at Atlanta Hartsfield, the South Complex has runway 9 right and 9 left. It also has runway 10, but that's not any question here. Runway 9 left is our long runway. It's 12,400 feet. Runway 9 right is our normal, traditional outboard landing runway. The inboard is reserved for takeoffs because of its length. It takes more runway to get a heavy in the air than it does to get it landed. So the 12,400 footer, the big one, is reserved for heavy takeoffs and emergencies. Now, this airplane somehow requested, this is Delta 1437 on August 2, they requested and got approved for the inboard. Were they having an emergency at the time? No, they were not. There was absolutely nothing going on. I believe it was her leg. He checks in. The captain checks in just at the marker for a landing clearance. It's him on the radio, which leads me to believe it was her flying, and he's on the radio. She's in the right seat, and they get a clearance to land. Now, they land. The whole approach, I'm going to look at the radar thing here. The whole approach descending, It just looks fast to me. Maybe it's not. It's in miles per hour here, but I'm going to show you the screen here. Descending out of 12 and 11,000 feet on the downwind. It's going kind of crazy fast to me. I don't know what their hurry was or why they requested and were awarded the inbound or the inboard runway here, 9 left, but they did. Nothing wrong with that. Sometimes there's a little lull and they can give it to you. What it means is 9 left means a lot less taxi. You can get to the gate a lot faster. How is that important? This flight pushed off the gate from Richmond 47 minutes late, and it had a tremendous amount of connections on. It had a very, very high percentage of connecting passengers, which meant that almost every one of those passengers was in danger of missing a connection, which they all ultimately did anyway. However, this thing operated kind of fast. This is what we in the airline industry used to call a slam dunk. It got a visual approach, a slam dunk, slam it in there, go fast, here's to the inboard, and get to the gate. It operated kind of fast. I want to know what your opinion is on this. I'm showing you the radar track. Here it is on final. Here's the speeds on final. Here's where touchdown. When it touched down, this is a 7.5. It's a pretty heavy airplane, not at gross weight or anything like that, but it only used from touchdown to complete stop 4,800 feet. I think it touched down a little fast and a little hard is going to be my guess. In any case, I think it popped 2 tires. I think it hit hard enough to pop 2 tires. In any case, the left main landing gear ended up on fire. Now, I'm going to read you the transcript off of this. This is where the tower lady, she says to Delta right away, I know for sure that there was no emergency going on because as soon as this airplane landed, she cleared the next airplane to line up and wait on 9 left. And as soon as she said that, she says, nope, cancel that, because she saw the problem. This airplane grinds to a halt with tires smoking, and already she can see a fire. So she cancels the line up and wait, and that references my time at 0. I put the whole timestamp on here. Reference 0 is when this woman controller, who I believe did a very nice job, she rolls the equipment, she hits the crash button, she gets everything going without any prompt. She is Johnny on the spot. I thought she did a nice job. Now, let's take a look at the rest of the transcript from here. I'm going to read it to you. This airplane ends up stopped and disabled on the runway. The only word out of the female FO is when she acknowledges a hold your position there. Let's take a look at the timestamp here. I'm going to read it to you, and here it is in order. Timestamp 0000. The tires blew. ATC sees it. Surprised. Cancel the next 9 left. Line up and wait. At 48, the tower reports smoke and fire. Quote, one of your tires. That's the 0 mark here. At 104, for a second time now, the same lady says, tower says your number 1 main landing gear is on fire. That's her second warning. And he simply responds very calmly, okay, thank you. At 116, tower says, flames visible from tower. And then for the 4th time now, she says, are there any emergency procedures that you would like to enact at this time? There was no response to this. Now, this is a 4th time. I don't know about you. Normally a gear well fire is not quite as significant. However, this was a raging fire. I've got video of it here. This is a pretty big fire. What is it that's located directly above this fire? It's jet fuel. It's oil and jet fuel directly above this. A raging fire on your left main gear is not good. And she has now told him 4 times, we're not talking about smoke. We're not talking about a glowing tire. We're talking about flames. She's used the word flame here. It would probably lead me to believe that we need to do something about this. What the captain doesn't know is how long is it going to take to get fire and rescue here. Here's the rest of the transcript. At 143, the tower says, flames on the right main gear are on fire and visible from the tower. Would you like to enact any emergency procedures at the time? He responds that he wants to declare an emergency, and he says, we'll probably evacuate right side. He's still not sure. 202, tower says, you can begin evacuation procedures. She's saying, sir, you're on fire. I'm not trying to tell you what to do, but you can begin those evacuation procedures like right now if you want to. The danger is if this fire had gotten bigger and got into the fuel, it would have made a very large problem really quick. They wasted a lot of time not evacuating when they knew for sure there's actual flame out there and fire control was nowhere around. How long did it take for fire and rescue from the time she hit the crash button till the first fire truck rolled up? It was a long time. How much time was it from the time that she reports that they're on fire until he says we're evacuating right side of aircraft? At 3:17, her seventh warning to him. Tower says, yes, sir, we still see flames. Finally, at 3:20, he says, we're evacuating right side of aircraft. 2 minutes and 32 seconds from the time that they come to a stop, and she's reporting flames 7 times before he finally initiates the evacuation. I don't know. That's not her necessarily telling him what to do. She's just calling balls and strikes. Sir, you're on fire. If there's any emergency evacuation procedures that you would like to do, now might be a pretty good time to start getting your people off the airplane because you're for sure on fire. Now, how long did it take for fire and rescue to get there? 4 minutes and 45 seconds, almost 5 minutes from the time she hit the button till the first fire truck arrives. That's a long time for that captain to sit up there and sweat. He has no idea. He can't see. He has no idea what's truly going on. In that amount of time, the fire and rescue came from a total of 5 different stations, but the lady controller, she, in the meantime, she cleared somebody else to land on the other runway, 9 right. That airplane was cleared to land, and then she ultimately sent that airplane around. Why is that? It's because if she allowed an airplane to land 9 right, here's the diagram for it. It would land 9 right. It would take the high speed, and at a high speed, it would make a 45-degree left-hand turn. It would go right into people and chaos. You don't want an active airplane with engines running, going at a high speed off the high speed turn directly into the face of everything that you've got now spread all over that tarmac. So she sent this airplane around. Here's the timestamp for it at 3 minutes and 45 seconds, reference my 0 mark. The aircraft for 9 right was sent around. 4 minutes and 45 seconds, the first fire truck arrives, and he says, airbags deployed. What he means is the air slides, the deployable air slides. It's okay, but I want you to listen to this tape. There's a lot of chaos going on this thing. It was an orderly evacuation. Everybody left their stuff behind, which is really nice. Nobody got hurt, really, for the most part, getting off the airplane. But I want to go back and look at crew inexperience. This 7.5 has been around for a long time. This was an old airplane when I was flying it 20 years ago. A landing situation where you blow tires and catch a main gear on fire, I've never heard of such a thing unless you're making a no flap, no slat landing or something like that. Just a normal day VFR, nothing going on, landing where we actually pop tires and catch a gear on fire. And if you notice, it's the left-hand main that got caught on fire, and I think that's because even with blown tires, they're still trying to turn left in 4,800 feet and make that high speed. Now, here's the checklist that Blanco referenced. I think that's an American evacuation checklist. Remember, the main thing on an evacuation that you got to do here is get those spoilers knocked down. That's not on the American checklist. I think somebody ought to look at this. Proper aircraft configuration before you pop the slides and start pushing people out there. When you land, auto spoilers are going to come up. Those spoilers are standing straight up, and it's dangerous out there. You do not want people out there on your wing and walking around and getting off the airplane with spoilers knocked up. Retract the spoilers first. Follow the evacuation checklist. Do it step by step. And I think spoiler retract should be on that checklist. I haven't seen, and I can't remember off the Delta checklist whether that's on there or not. But in the video, I see that the spoilers are knocked down. They were clean surface, but they left full slats and full flaps, which is probably evac configuration for the 7.5. I just can't remember at this point what it is. Overall, a good job, but a lot of stuff to consider here. Which fire stations are going to respond? Where are they going to come from? Who's going to get cleared to cross? What frequency? I would say as a recommendation, if somebody disables on 9 left, the entire south complex ought to be closed. No more takeoffs, no more landings until you get all the people rounded up and everything kind of under control. Her giving a landing clearance to another airplane when she knew that she had a fire and a crisis going on right next to it was probably a little bit improper. That's probably why she sent that airplane around, but she sent him around kind of late. He did go around. He didn't touch down, so everything's good. Overall, I think the lady, female controller lady, I think she did a nice job on ATC because she was telling him exactly what she saw. She wasted no time getting stuff rolling, and she used CRM. She was telling him 7 times, sir, you're on fire. You're on fire. This is not just a glowing break. You're actually on fire here. I'm glad it all worked out. I think we're talking about a lot of crew inexperience here. I think this airplane was going fast, in a hurry, took the inboard. I think it made a hard landing. I'll be curious to see what your opinion is. I don't have all the answers on this one. I'm just very thankful Nobody got hurt. It's probably going to be a good learning debrief off of all of this for everybody. Let's slow down, fly a stabilized approach, get the airplane on the ground. And if you've got an OE with a brand new FO and it's not looking really, really nice, you're a go around. Oh man, this evacuation cost Delta $500,000 easily. Let's go around. Let's take another lap around if it's not looking really nice. Stabilized approach, and it's going to be either really nice or else you're a go around airplane. I got to get out of here. I'm going to put this video up and on the air. Remember, every Sunday night I have another GA video. This particular one will probably stay up and on the air for forever. This is a permanent. This is documentary style. It's got some good lessons to learn and some good video in it. And I'm happy to show this, and I'm happy to report that Delta Airlines did a really nice job, and everybody on here did really good for the most part. I'm still not quite so sure about our overall crew experience on all the airlines. It's going to be a factor going forward, I guarantee you. I got to get out of here. I'm going to get this video up and on the air yet this evening for my tiny little itty-bitty fledgling YouTube channel, DanGryder. Probable cause.
And Delta 875, is this going to be a minute for your release time as well as traffic landing the inboard runway?
Gotcha, thanks. Delta 875.
Good evening, Tower. Delta 1437, Tower, Vinny 9 left.
Delta 1437, line of tower with 1706, runway 9er left, clear to land.
9 left, clear to land, Delta 1437.
Delta 2259, contact departure, have a good one.
Departure, Delta 2259, see ya.
Line of Delta 532 is visual 8 left. Delta 532, Atlanta wind 160 at 6, 8 left, clear to land. 8 left, clear to land, Delta 532.
Delta 875, runway 9 left and Mike 2, line up and wait, traffic up, disregard, do not line up and wait.
We're staying on holding short of 9 left for Delta 875.
Crash crews on the way, crash crews on the way. Delta 1437, just hold the position there on the runway.
At 1437, holding position.
All ops vehicles on frequency, any ops vehicles on frequency?
It sounds like we blew a tire for 1437, is that correct?
Yes, sir. We did see smoke and fire coming off of one of your tires. We do have the emergency vehicles on your phone. We're sending them out now and looking for some ops vehicles. Just hold the position.
Very good, thank you.
No problem. And your number 1 main gear is on fire.
Okay, thank you.
Alright, and did you say contact ground?
And Delta 1437, the flames are visible from the tower. Are there any emergency procedures that you would like to enact at this time?
Original draft.
Delta 1437, the flames on the right main gear are on fire and visible from the tower. Would you like to enact any emergency procedures at this time?
Yes, we're declaring emergency. We'll probably be evacuating off the right side of the aircraft.
Delta 1437, roger that. We will relay that information and make sure everyone remains clear. You could begin your evacuation procedures.
Wait, 8 left, West Ship 9-1. 8 right. 8 right, West Ship 59-1.
Tower Delta 1576, Bernie, 9 right.
Delta 1576, Atlanta Tower, winds 1804, runway 9 right, clear to land.
Clear to land, 9 right, Delta 1576.
Tower, Alpha 688 Heavy, good afternoon, service on Ida 6 left.
Inference 688 Heavy, Atlanta wind 1804, 8 left, clear to land.
Clear to land, France 688 Heavy.
Got a sequence for Spirit Wings turn down 2? I don't. Did the ground control not give you one? Contact ground 19.
No, you said we were in sequence, so I guess we'll pull up.
Yep, you're number 1. Okay, 1591 on Everani 8 right, clear for takeoff.
And Tower, I just wanted to verify the emergency equipment is on the way. Are we still on fire?
Yes, sir. The emergency equipment is on the way as far as we can see. We stand by. Let me check with the binoculars. Yes, sir. Still see flames.
Okay, very good. We're evacuating then off the right side of the aircraft.
Roger that. Emergency vehicles are on their way. Delta 1576, go around, climb maintain 3000, turn right heading up 180.
Go around 3000 heading 180, Delta 1576.
And our vehicles on Romeo, cross runway 9er right, proceed Romeo 7 November to the emergency vehicle on runway 9er left.
9 plus 1, cross.
Our vehicles on Mike proceed on runway 9er left, the emergency vehicle at Sierra. Fire Chief on Lima, proceed on runway 9er left. Delta 1576, maintain 3,000 and 190 knots.
3,000, 190 knots, Delta 1576.
Atlanta Tower, Fire Chief. Correct, Atlanta Tower, RB.
Atlanta Tower, 5 at Romeo 11.
Requesting permission for all units to enter onto 9er left. We have airbags deployed from aircraft. Asking permission for all units to enter onto 9er left.
And Fire Chief, proceed on runway 9er left. Our vehicles on Mike, proceed on runway 9er left.
RP on Mike, proceeding on runway 9er left.
Delta 1576, flight heading up 220 and approach 24.6, 124.6.
Go ahead and protect egress, R7 and R8. Go ahead and protect egress on front of plane. All of the units coming in, we're going to go ahead and start rounding up everybody so we can get a count and hold everybody to the grassy area. All units hold everybody to the grassy area.
R3 F4 received, holding all.
Atlanta Tower, 5 at Romeo 11.
Yeah, just changed over, 2625.
Delta 2625, tower winds 180, 4110, clear line.
Vehicle caller tower, go ahead.
Yes, at this time, can you please show runway 9 left closed?
Affirmative, runway 9er left is closed. All emergency vehicles and ops vehicles proceed to 118.65, 1865 for your frequency.
118.5, left, clear to land.
Out of 1576, 124.6, 24.6.
France 688 to confirm we continue on Bravo.
Air France 688 Heavy, affirmative, hold toward 8 rated Delta.
Haute chance at Delta, Air France 688 Heavy.
Air France 688 Heavy, that's mostly correct. Confirm hold toward runway 8 right at Delta.
We are chance 8 right at Delta, Air France 688 Heavy.
Jazz 954, Atlanta Tower, and Ronnie 8 right, clear for takeoff.
Alright, Ronnie, clear for takeoff, 8 right, Jazz 954.
Atlanta Tower, Fire 35, requesting access to runway 9 left.
Fire 35, proceed on runway 9er left.
Proceeding on the runway 9 left, Fire 35.
This is Delta 1437 on the runway. This is the captain speaking, and we have evacuated the entire aircraft. All passengers are off board. I'm getting off now. Thank you.
Delta 1437, thank you.
Wait, here we go. 2604, contact departure, see ya. Delta 26.
Op 5 at Romeo 11, cross runway 9er right. ARF 5, cross runway 9er right, and proceed to runway 9er left.
Tower Delta 2078, clear 8 left, on Bravo.
Delta 2078, taxi.
Op 4, you up?
Victor Loop, Delta 2078.
The 2625 for now, join Sierra Charlie, short of Romeo.
Sierra Charlie, short of Romeo, Delta 2625.
United 2665.
All departures for runway 9 or left. I'm going to taxi all of you to depart runway 8 right. If you can take it, let me know if you can take runway 8 right.
8 right, line up weight traffic downfield.
Line up for weight
Delta
on
20,
8 right.
you can take it right.
Delta 2902, roger that. Delta 875, can you make a right turn onto Mike? Actually, just make a right turn onto runway 9 or left to Lima, back onto the taxiway and ground point 75. He's going to taxi you to the north side.
All right, right turn on runway 9 left, then Mike, or Lima, then we'll contact ground point 75 Delta 875. We can take 8 right as well.
Thank you. Delta 222 Heavy, can you take 8 right?
Delta 222, we can take 8 right.
Delta 222, roger. Follow the 320 ahead and ground point 75.
Follow the 320 and back to point 75, Delta 222, good job.